Well, greetings, everybody. This is Mike Rochelle, and we're here at AITP Lone Star. So I really appreciate everybody coming out. Harold, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. I'm looking forward to hearing your presentation. As we talked about earlier, one of the things that I thought I would ask you guys, what did you do the morning that it was like 32 degrees in the morning?
Is that a general question for everybody or for me?
General question for everybody. So anybody can answer the question.
I tell you what, 32 degrees is just comfortable for me. So I probably went outside and walked around. It's just not that cold to me.
Yeah. How about you, Brian? Anything special?
No, just, went out to see how much frost was, went got my cup of coffee, of course, and then went to see how much frost was out there. So to see about, plants, see if they were going to die already.
Yeah, I moved some plants in for my wife, but my spider lilies the blooms did not get frozen. So it was good.
That's good.
Akshay, how about you?
Mike, I just got up in the morning before my meeting was supposed to start. And by the time my meetings got over, I went out. It was already in 70s. So then I really enjoyed the 32 degree this morning.
Joe, anything special for you?
Yeah, it's just another normal morning for me, Mike. I'm not near as adventurous as you are at sunrise.
Yeah, so what he's talking about, I was out there about 30 minutes before sunrise up until about an hour after sunrise at Lake Louisville, and it was gorgeous. Even though it was cold, the sun was nice and warm, so it was like nice and cool. All right, well, we're getting ready to that time of year, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I think, because the weather patterns have been really strange this year. I don't know if you guys noticed it, even though, quote unquote, the hurricane season has been the worst in decades, the last 5 years, which it really hasn't, but they keep saying that. There were almost no hurricanes that hit the mainland this year. If you can count big storms, maybe, but not many that hit the mainland. So pretty interesting weather patterns that are coming towards us. So I'm going to
Jamaica that got hit. Yeah.
Say that again.
I think it was just Jamaica that had a rough hurricane season.
The Caribbean always does. My wife is from Puerto Rico, so we watch that pretty closely. They didn't get a major storm this year either, which is, thank God. Those things are a mess. So thanks, guys, for playing the game of what you did in the 32-degree morning. Let's go ahead and get into what we're about. So, Joe, why don't you tell us about what this ecosystem is all about?
Yeah, our ecosystem is about pulling together technology professionals and professionals in other disciplines that have an interest in technology, all the way from freshmen in college to those who are retired but want to keep their finger on the pulse of technology. And we have senior executives that mentor others. We just have great social events where you can come and hear great speakers. And then, of course, we deliver these online sort of presentations where we invite guests to provide unique insights to what's going on in the world.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Joe. So one of the things that we've been talking about, and this is by no means a done deal, we're going to have a board meeting right after the meeting tonight from 8 to 9. And what I'm proposing is that we, just like we did this year, we take a summer break in June and July, but we have 9 in-person meetings during the year of 2026. I already have January, February, and March scheduled, and you'll see who those are in just a minute. And then at the meetings, instead of having separate tech meetings along with our chapter meetings, we'll have a regular meeting in person like we used to pre-pandemic, and do networking and dinner while we're doing the business, chapter business, blessing on the food, and then we'll have our speaker present We'll give them 5 more minutes than we do online because we have a little bit more time, and then we'll have some flexibility on the Q&A that can go longer, which does from time to time. Finish with some other chapter business about what's coming up and things like that, but then have a tech ed presentation, technical education presentation by one of our partners, really representing the technologies that they use and the advances that they're providing to those folks that they're working with. And then we'll have a good evening. We will videotape these meetings, but we'll publish them instead of live. They'll come out 2 weeks later on our pre-member channels, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and X. So a little bit different than this year. We may still have some online meetings because that does give us flexibility to have people that are coming in from Silicon Valley or other places in the country. January, we have Mark Urbis. Mark's been around the DFW Metroplex for a long, long time. Was at Radio Shack when I met him in 2000 when I first came here. But he's worked at Animal Supply Company as the CIO, Cavender's, and a bunch of other places as a temporary CIO with Fortium Partners for the last 4 or 5 years. So he has lots of experience coming into places and figuring out how to prioritize typically the chaos that he walks into. So that's what he's going to be sharing with us in January. And then this is the lady that I saw a excellent LinkedIn post about we are all builders now. And I asked her to speak about it at our February chapter. So we may still have that one online since she's in San Francisco. But the whole thing about it is that product managers, project managers also are being phased out in a lot of companies where they just have engineers that are doing all of the feature work and all of that kind of thing. So it speeds up the process because they're able to code faster, but it also, it puts the responsibility directly on the engineers as well. So anyway, she's going to talk about that. And I think it's a precursor to what we're going to see as AI continues to expand its footprint in all that we do. So it should be a great conversation. Then Jason Buffington, who is a data protection analyst, he's actually been in the business for about 35 years at Veeam Enterprise Strategy Group, and where I met him in 2006 at Microsoft, doing product management for Data Protection Manager, which was the first product of the System Center family. So great stuff that is coming from those guys. I'm looking forward to seeing them in 2026. We have great partners, Augusta High-Tech with Karthik Pichai as the CEO there. Advanced Net Labs, who's actually our title sponsor, Keith Thode, who provides us with a 8,000 to 10,000 course LMS platform that's available to members. So that's an awesome addition to our capabilities and the value proposition that we provide to the local chapter. And then also Kumar Chandramouli, who is the CEO at O2 Cyber, a cybersecurity consulting company. We have other partners that do in-kind services like myself and Brian Howard and Emily Bell-Wooten. If you have the time to spend an hour with me, I'll give you a free analysis of your organization. Brian has some interesting documentation for job seekers. And Emily Bell-Wooten is a fractional CMO. She's actually our CMO at AITP. So thanks very much to our valued partners who are also members. And that's another differentiation Joe already talked about from a professional perspective, freshmen in college through giving retirement. Professionals can also be a part of the, not professionals, but vendors can also be a part of our ecosystem. And very valued. So it is really my pleasure. I've actually been waiting to hear this presentation, in my mind, at least 5 years. Harold says that he's been working on it for 7, and it's probably actually been longer than that. But I'd like to introduce Harold with a bio, so bear with me. Harold Hurd is the CEO of Stone ARX, a Dallas-Fort Worth-based technology company focused on transforming how real estate is bought, sold, operated, and developed. With more than 2 decades of executive leadership and technology experience, he has helped organizations create new revenue streams by aligning real-world business needs with practical modern technology solutions. At Stone ARX, Harold is focused on simplifying complex real estate transactions across both residential homes and commercial assets, reducing delays, cutting down on paperwork, and bringing greater trust and transparency to everyone involved. His work serves property owners, buyers, sellers, investors, lenders, and local governments, basically anybody that touches commercial or residential property, by making deals more predictable, data-driven, and efficient. Guided by the principle of society's betterment through services, Harold works with partners across business, academia, and the public sector to design solutions that not only improve transaction efficiency, but also strengthen communities. By leveraging data, automation, and emerging technologies such as blockchain and artificial intelligence, he is committed to building systems that help families, businesses, and communities unlock long-term value from the properties they own, use, and depend on. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Harold. Harold, thanks very much for coming out tonight. And I'll switch over to your presentation and you can take it away.
So first of all, thanks, Mike and the entire AITP team for the invite, and I do appreciate the time. Next slide. So next slide, please. There you go. So Stone ARX is taking the approach of setting the new standard of truth as it relates to real estate. And everyone on the call, and most likely anyone on this presentation, has gone through the agony of either buying a piece of property or selling a piece of property. And let me tell you, I have as well. It's tremendously challenging. Next slide. So what does real estate look like on Stone ARX? Well, it's actually, there we go. Next slide.
Sorry, I went the wrong way.
You're okay. It's okay. No worries. So what we're doing with Stone ARX is, I'm sorry. Next slide. Everything is be on the chain. Stone ARX is doing some pretty cool things, because when you take a look at the fact, everything we're doing is on chain. We're bringing everybody together, and it moves in unison. I don't know if you've ever seen a school of fish in the ocean. They don't fly around all disparate. They're unified in their approach, and they're swimming. They swim as a group and they move it through. We're doing the same type of simple principle. We're keeping everything on track. We're making sure the ownership is verified, certified, and the things that need to be done are being done in a timely manner. Next slide. There we go. Well, it does sound too good to be true, because it's not as easy as you would think. So we're getting some traction in this space. And what does that mean? Next slide. And next slide. We're going to talk about who's moving into this space. We have found through the work that we've done through commercial transactions, we found buyers and sellers, brokers, agents, the entire plethora. We're partnering with each and every one of these industry verticals and integrating them into this holistic ecosystem. We're pulling in the buyer's needs and the seller's inquiries. In other words, wanting to move the product. Agents needs to move things faster. Brokers to be more efficient. Lenders to increase new revenue streams. Appraisers to get the job done and make sure the information is passed through successfully. Title and escrow to make sure that, well, if you're buying something, it's really yours to buy, and it's actually something that you can measure. And believe it or not, what's going on in this entire ecosystem, next slide, as we look at this, everything will be transactionally tracked in a blockchain. Now, what does that mean? Think about your title for a moment and how easy it is. If you're not familiar with how easy it is for your title to be stolen from you right out from underneath your feet and not know about it for a number of days, you need to look into that. We have, and we've solved this problem. We believe that we have the approach that eradicates it. It's a little bit complicated. Won't have a chance to really kind of walk through the hyper details, but we're working in partnership with state government, county governments, and city governments in the same breath, providing this type of service to those government entities at no cost, right? And the idea behind that is, at the end of the day, when you do any type of transaction on real estate, it's always the consumer that pays the cost. And so what we're trying to do is mitigate and change the way it's done. So let's talk about how they all get engaged. So next slide, please. So what do the brokers get out of this? Well, brokers deal with these struggles every day: missing docs, missing deadlines, deal drags for weeks and weeks because one person's not doing something. Imagine, if you would, an entire collaborative environment where the buyers, the sellers, every stakeholder that has an act to play in the transaction is engaged in a very engaging model and informed when they need to do something to make a decision, up or down, left or right, move or not move. Well, that's what we're doing, and we're orchestrating these transactions in such a manner that the brokers and brokerages have easier oversight into what those transactions look like. Next slide. And when we look at the counties themselves, well, we're creating what's called a tamper-proof, near tamper-proof. I have to say it like that, right? Because nothing's nothing until it's done. Tamper-proof, more enduring transfer of deed and title through a very tight integration. As we all know, when we close a title, that's a post-activity. That post-activity is so vital to the whole holistic deal that they will now be part of the transaction itself. So instead of being a laggard, they'll be participating as the funds. It'll be moving so fast, so as the funds move, the title will move. So when the funds go from A to B and it's cleared and banks go, we got it, that title will be transferred at that moment in time, and the transfer is locked in. And the reason it's locked in is because we've built a Texas land registry. Yes, I said it as not an openly stated comment because it's still being built out through some pilot programs. But the value proposition to this is that the title won't change hands from the county from one individual to the other without the stakeholders who either owned or acquiring that asset are on the system and have real-time interaction on the approval process. So this will make your checker to make sure that everybody knows what everybody's doing. And even the funding and lending sources will be informed of the deal so that they can have a say to make sure that the funds have been settled and all deals are clean and clear. What does that mean? Well, that means that after a couple of transactions of maturization on a single asset or residential property, we can now elevate the title escrow work to a matter of moments instead of hours or days or weeks. Very valuable. Next slide. One more. Next slide. There we go. Lenders. Well, lenders, title companies, and escrows. What we're doing with these organizations is, for lenders, we're finding new revenue channels that they've never seen before. Setting up guardrails for them to ingest new deals that meet their criteria and needs. And as title and escrow companies, we're actually expediting in actually a measurable manner. And I'm trying to be careful about how much I say in measurement. It's 60 or 70% faster just for title and escrow folks to set these deals up and roll them through their systems. Right, so we're verifying the documents. We're able to get those done lightning fast, automating and moving milestones very quickly. And we have full chain visibility, zero confusion. Everybody knows what's going on as it's moving through the system and through the cycle. Next slide.
So Harold, I have a question for you before you move on.
Sure.
And I think you just answered it, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. So everybody involved in the transaction will have appropriate access to all the documentation, including the new owner.
Exactly. This is the absolutely. So there's several aspects to this as this blockchain land registry is being built and the transaction registry is being built. They run tandem, right? They're interoperable, but not shared with government officials unless you, the property owner, choose to do that thing. And if you do choose to do that thing, there's value propositions in there, which I can touch on, which I think everybody on the call will be excited about. But here's the beauty of this. Not only that are on the blockchain, but let's say that I buy something from you, Mike. Well, I have access to that information in perpetuity up to and to the point of when the title changed from my hand to yours. Everything that happened beyond me in this transaction, I have no visibility to it. I have everything from the point I sold it into the back of time to where all the data has been aggregated. Now, why is that important? Well, for taxation purposes and legal challenges, all the obvious above things. But all the work doesn't have to get redone time after time after time. We're able to create a snapshot and aggregate it. Think of blockchain like a bank ledgering system, right? You go to the bank, you make a deposit, they ledger it. You make a withdrawal, they ledger it. You have a transaction come through, they ledger it. It's all verified and validated before the actual transaction occurs. Same principle, same concept. But in the beauty of this, that data never goes away. It's there in perpetuity. And it's built by design for that purpose because, well, we can, and we've done it. So this is where we're going with this. And the value proposition of sharing data with government entities, if you would. We have an approach that we're piloting right now. It's data sharing or data revenue sharing with government entities. What does that mean? Well, we'll be setting up these environments where you'll be able to generate revenue off your asset. Once you generate revenue off your asset, you can share that revenue with government entities, fractional, of course, your call. And based on that revenue, they generate revenue, you generate revenue. And what's the win for the property owner? The conversations that are being had right now is the reduction of property taxes. What? Right? If we do enough of this, we do it well. I believe that this can be a self-fulfilling element that property tax becomes a thing of the past. Not today, but it's a maturization thing as we move through the cycle of things. There's so much this system's doing right now in that regard. So just from the blockchain itself, just from the value proposition of title security and title fraud, the governor's office is very excited about that. I've walked them through how that's done, and now they want to be a part of it. Powerful. We're working with the General Land Office, the Secretary of State, the Railroad Commission, the Texas Association of Realtors, TREC. We're working with all of them. This is an ecosystem that is inclusive. We are not pushing anyone out. Things just get naturally maturized over time. Value increases. The transaction flow happens more expeditiously in a very easy and repeatable fashion. At the end of the day, and if you go back to the slide, the goal on this is that, next slide. There we go. We're trying to make it to where every party has clear, clean Bible records, right? And what does that really mean? Next slide. This system is built for everyone. No one gets left behind. No one's out of the loop. No step is unclear, and no version gets lost. Everything is clear and concise and holistic. That's the beauty of the transaction. Next slide.
So Harold, when you say no version gets lost, basically everybody that has a copy of the chain has the whole chain, correct?
If you are entitled by the property owner to have access to that information, that is accurate. If I'm a lender, as an acquirer or a buyer, I release certain information for the lending organization to make, excuse me,
Determination.
due diligence. And as a seller, I release information to the buyer so that they can do their due diligence. Long gone will be the appraisals and inspections that you can't get to anymore. That will be transparent because the funding and lending sources will bring that into the chain. They'll make it part of the chain. The property owner will get that information. The deeds won't get lost because they'll always be accessible through the system. You'll log on, pull your deed. You'll log on. No more of this title notification from the county. I don't know if anybody's using that because anybody that has the same similar names like John Smith, you'll get like 1,000 emails or notifications that something's going on with your title, and it's not even you. This is much more intimate, much more focused, much more direct because it has a clear tie-in to all the owners themselves. I will say that we don't spend a lot of time broadcasting blockchain because people don't really understand what that means. All I can say and what I like to offer is that it's a clear, legible, transparent list of transactions that has ever occurred on that property.
Very cool.
Yep. And at the end of the day, We are launching the residential side of the equation. This is a beautiful thing where we believe that we will see a 90% efficiency rate in transactions. Our vision is to be able to buy and or sell a residential property in under 7 hours. That is from search to settle. So money changes hand, not day one. I want to be clear, it's the vision, right? And doing the same thing in commercial as well. Commercial is a lot more challenging. We have launched the commercial in a very quiet pilot, invitation only, so we can maturize and make sure that we're walking through that thing in a very effective and holistic approach. And the success ratio is quite high. So we're very excited about that. And I'm happy to answer any questions because there's a lot. Yeah. And so that's what I've got.
Very cool. So I'll go ahead and fire away some questions if you don't mind.
Sure.
I don't see anybody adding questions right now online, but you can if you want to. And that includes Joe, you and Akshay. You can do it, or you can just ask the question directly. So included in the title, does it also include the plat and all of those details that are mind numbing for somebody that's trying to build a property for the first time?
I think of it from the perspective of every piece of information that you would ever want or need to have, either in the development or the purchase of that property being available. Now, granted, it does require someone to put that into create that association to it, but you're going to find that most title and escrow, title companies will have a ton of this information, and we're going to start making that small maturization and transformation. Even the title plants know this is coming, and the title plants are on board within the state of Texas. To what degree, I'm going to be very careful about the hyper details because I don't want to upset anyone in the equation.
Well, the amazing thing is that you have to deal with just about every agency in the state, right? So,
yep. And let me. It is not easy, right? So from legislation to just meeting and greeting the boots on the ground with the agents and brokers, walking them through how it happens and how it works. And what we've done from their optic is we've created a single pane of glass that has everything that they need to do the business that they do. And it looks just like they do their business, but the back end is doing all the heavy lifting, all the workflows, all the structures are in place. And that's where the efficiencies are coming in, right? Their normal workflow from a broker to an agent are monumentally different, but related, hyperly related. As with the buyers and sellers, every what we call key stakeholders. But we've created an intimate dashboard from the viewpoint of every stakeholder, only discussing, bringing to light the things that they feel are needed for them to go from A to B in an expedited capacity. It's like being on this call. Everybody here is working on one goal. We have one goal in this call, but we have the opportunity to, in real time, collaborate. And yes, we'll add all types of collaboration tools and things like that, but we're going to step one as we move this through. We're very excited. We're getting a lot of encouragement. We've just signed a nationwide title company. We've got 2 counties in the state of Texas working through the pilot. We have banks, local banks. We're trying to stay away from regional and national banks right now, just staying a little focused and very purposed. A very large stack of inventory from residential to commercial to walk this flow through. And pilot programs from the assessor district to even the ISDs, where we get our biggest taxes. ISDs, city taxes, MUDs and SUDs, and all the above. We're working with each and every one of them, showing them where the data sharing revenue potential is larger than the revenue they take in taxes. And creating that partnership is a vital componentry of the overall orchestration of this ecosystem. So,
very good.
It's a little bigger than you would think.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
Yep.
So we have a question from Emily Bellwooten, who's covering LinkedIn. I'll just read it. So
Yeah.
what Emily, I think she may still be in Amarillo. She has a situation going on there, but she asks, what real world problems does blockchain solve that traditional databases cannot?
The ability to have a distributed network that is shareable and immutable across not just cities, but counties and owners, and having all key participants at any given point in time being able to have and share the same accurate information in very near real time. Traditional databases can certainly do that, but the synchronization of those activities is quite large. Because blockchain is taking it in nibbles and chunks and it's in real time, we have the ability to also ensure and validate that the information being fed is accurate and agreed upon before it's committed to the chain itself. So we have on-chain and off-chain, but the off-chain is usually those big blob things that don't fit well on the chain, but are definitely integral and completely accessible.
Very good. She goes on to say, she worked on a blockchain project years ago. What has changed in the past 5 years, and what's the biggest barrier preventing businesses from adopting blockchain right now?
Well, I'm going to suggest understanding, right? So if I say the word blockchain, everybody on this call is probably going to say Bitcoin. But
Right.
at the end of the day, it's really understanding what the technology does and can provide, and really try to stay focused on solving problems and not trying to use buzzwords. One thing I'm not a big fan of is within that side of the application, you will certainly be able to see that there's a blockchain crypto key or hash, but it's not the focal point. The focal point is what? I got a piece of property, I want to buy it. I got a piece of property, I want to sell it, and I want it done. I don't care about the bells and whistles. I'm not in it for the techno babble. I'm in it to save money, transact fast, and get high value. So our mantra is value, value, value. Tools and techniques will ebb and flow, and we're prepared for that as well. So adoption of blockchain, I think, has been poorly communicated on what the real value of it is. Most people just think Bitcoin or mining or something like that. We are not that. Okay. Yet I will offer the following. No, it's fair. I proposed to the governor because the question came to me, Harold, we've got all these people that are tokenizing real estate. How are you going to handle that? I said, I'll tell you what, the people that are tokenizing real estate, let me explain to you how it breaks down. And I'm not going to do it on a call here, but I explained to him how that breaks down and how those assets can get lost, how your value can be eradicated in a moment's notice. He got it. When I walked him through the approach that we're going to do, we will be tokenizing at the deed level, not at a corporation level. It'll actually be linked to the deed. So that means that you'll have, let's say, a syndicate of owners, as an example. We know what those are. We have a syndicate of owners. That syndicate lead representative is representing all the owners. And when that transaction occurs, he's the single vote that needs to happen. We'll handle that. That's exactly how we'll handle it. But if there's no syndicate, there's individuals, and they don't have a majority stake in the game, they'll have to approve it regardless. But they'll know the transaction's happening. It won't be sold out from underneath them. They won't become the proud owner of a corporation with no asset. They'll actually be the proud owner of an asset with value to grow. Yeah.
So I was thinking as you were speaking in the main presentation, the differentiator for the early mover from a city perspective, from a bank perspective, from the whole thing, is that they're able to transact faster with less hurdle than the bank that is not a part of the ecosystem. So is there a cost advantage for you, or is that a driver of value for you as the owner of the ecosystem?
Well, this is wonderful. This is a great question. I love this because what I'm going to spin it the other direction. It's a value to the bank to be part of it. And why? Because what it does, if anyone that's done any of the lending in the lending space has always found that your funnel is only so wide. because the people that you know are the people that are bringing the deals in. And that's about the sum of it. You got a Rolodex, bring your Rolodex in. But what you're doing in this environment, being part of this environment, is you set up your guardrails saying, I only want these size deals, this type of asset, or these type of residentials. I don't want to invest more than 100 million a week or 10 million or whatever the numbers are. Set those guardrails up. And as these deals come in, we dump them into a general queue. And if it meets your criteria, it falls into your queue bucket. You've got, I think the timer on it is like 60 minutes right now, set for 60 minutes to say go, no go, and we're fine either way. There's no skin lost on that. And then if it's a go, then we just, there's criteria and milestones that we set to make sure that deal flow keeps going. In other words, no hesitation.
So when you say it's out there, does that mean that multiple banks could be bidding it like an RFP process to capture that transaction?
Well, this is where it gets fun, right? So I drop it into a funding bucket, and maybe it lands in 75% of all the funding source or lending capital providers queue, and it meets their need. It's on a timer when it hits the market. It is, because as a buyer, I'm not going to want to wait around. I'm going to look for the best deal. I get to pick who I want. Let's say that let's say I get 4 people, pick it up. And I don't have to worry about, say, hey, bank A is doing X percent, you're doing Y, bring it down, I'll do with you. It's very clear. It's just take the deal you want and go. The rest you've missed out, right? And it's not about, picking a primary. As the buyer, it's my choice at the end of the day. Where I get and who gets my money, just the other way around. It's a mutual win-win, right? The buyer wins, the lender wins as well. And it drives competitiveness. I believe it'll drive competitiveness, and it'll also open up new revenue channels that banking institutions have never thought about. And I met with the Texas Credit Union down in Austin and with the president of the Texas Banking Commission and walked them through the pieces and parts that we're doing. And they were blown away with how we're approaching this. Not violating or changing anything for the banking space, because how we see it is like a relay race, right? I throw it out in the banking space, somebody picks it up and runs their leg of the relay race and brings back the results. And there's always another one sitting in the queue in case they drop the ball. They can pick it up and keep running with it. So we're trying to take that approach, not just with capital providers, but inspectors, appraisers, agents, brokers. If they're not moving fast enough, you have the full withal to do what you choose to do. Pick a different agent, pick a different broker. And the beauty of it is, even if I come there as an individual, all the lenders are still there. All the title companies are still there. I can pick whoever I want at any time and do a deal on solo, if you would. So, and then on the closing or the post-closing is usually where all the title transfer activity is going on. Instead of thinking of this post-closing, we're looking at them as part of the closing, but not to slow it down, not to be the lagger, but to be intricately interwoven into the process so that when the deal is closed, it's done. Everybody's satisfied. They feel like they've walked out with a win in a mark in the win column, and no one feels slighted. Because at the end of the day, the buyer, the seller have they have the control of what they choose to do. They're the ultimate authority in the transaction, as they should be in the market today, right? Your broker or agent's not working for you, we'll gladly provide you a whole other list that you can choose from. We don't rank them. It's not our job to rank them, right? We'll keep score of their success ratio. We'll have all that metric, right? And, we'll know if they're treating people fairly. We'll be able to, provide that type of communication. And just opening things up and really walking people through what are they really getting and why are they paying so much. And if you're able to close your deal so much faster than you can today, that's a win. Because I look at it from a lot of different optics. Velocity of capital. Anybody ever heard that phrase? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What if we're able to have a positive impact on the velocity of capital? Meaning, as an example, escrow cash does not sit in the bank for weeks or days. It sits in there for hours. So that money's back into the market and is working again, right? Mm-hmm. that has a positive influx on the area, the county, state, and ultimately the country as we continue to match rise across states. So that's how we're thinking about these things. And at the end of the day, our approach is, who owns the data on the property? The property owners do. Whoever bought it owns it up to the point of when they sold it, right? And we believe that we've got opportunities for them to do some very powerful things, from revenue generation to data sharing through revenue generation. Just create value wins for everyone working within the ecosystem. It'll become a gravitational force that you'll want to participate in because of the value it brings to those that do participate in. It drives competition, which will drive costs down. No more inflated real estate prices through arbitrary factorials, right? Think about the opportunity to provide the assessor district with a more valid valuation on taxation. What if we were able to take that bell curve on taxation and kind of flatten it a bit, right? All the above. We keep going down. We can keep walking down this path. The automation of all these transactions within a blockchain, gathering and stealing that historical landscape of that life of the asset, has more long-term value than people can see and are able to fathom it. And so that's how we're approaching it. We're very excited about it. And
So Joe, you had a similarly complex, although complex from a different perspective, role as you were moving money across all around the world at MoneyGram. So what are the similarities that you see in that complexity and the challenges that Harold is facing now?
Yeah, it's a different kind of complexity, and I've enjoyed hearing Harold talk tonight talk about the front end of the transaction, because I spent a lot of my career post closing in the mortgage business, and what you see is a lot of energy spent by lenders, Harold, and I'm sure lenders are going to begin to pick up on this. You've talked about the speed of the deal and creating a marketplace. But what you see on the back end is when a borrower goes into default, all the work that has to go in around just keeping the title clean and watching it. I've seen borrowers who intentionally tried to take control of the lien or filed invalid documents with the county, which then had to do title searches, had to clean up the lien so that then you could foreclose on the property. So you see lots of unusual things that take a lot of time and energy, even for lenders and servicing. You haven't even talked about the back half of the deal. You've talked about really just accelerating the front half.
So let's talk about a little bit of that, right? Because it's on the blockchain and because the transaction occurred on the blockchain, and when the record goes into the land registry and that mortgage is living, right? What we're doing with that is any activity, as long as there is a lender associated with that asset, and if there's any county activity that's been initiated by the owner, because that capital or lending source is tied to the deal until they're no longer tied to the deal, either through disposition or some other mechanism, right? You'll know when something's about to get filed in any regard. Think about the power of that. So if someone took something to the county, at the moment it went to the county, you were notified, or the lending institution was notified. And you would go, whoa, wait, we can't do that, or that can't be done. Then you have a full stop opportunity. Well, because the lending party probably has a majority stake of the deal, and from the funding side of it, you can put a halt to it. Now, there's legislation I got to work on that, because you understand the title ownership, deed ownership is what it is, right? That's another mechanism that I'm working on right now. It's not about taking it over. It's holding the transaction from occurring so that all parties do not lose the investment that they put into it, right? Now, it's fair and equitable, right? Because we're going to balance this. The balancing act is all the interrelations that are being tied into this, and it's phenomenal. It's not easy. It's very complex, and yet this is why it's taking years to do, not a normal software development cycle. right? Software development cycles are easy, but understanding the intrinsic nature of the ebb and flow of both capital and the asset themselves itself and how they best get applied is the challenge. And then working with legislators, banks, the entire orchestration of stakeholders, and understanding their personas and ensuring that their personas, if they're statutory, they're aligned to. If they're non-statutory, how they apply. And getting all those principles and policies tied into the transaction is not an easy undertaking, but it's achieved. It has been achieved. And so that's why I'm actually talking today, is because we're testing all these things out in real time right now. And the transactions are actually occurring. You just don't see them because we're not advertising it right now. We're trying to be just below the waterline until we have to come above it. But all I suggest is, hit the website, sign up, and come January, there'll be a whole new residential perspective. And we're driving cost out of the equation as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right,
It'll be
Akshay,
interesting to see you try to scale this outside of Texas, because property laws in every state have their own nuances and flavors. And Mike said, "Hey Joe, what about money transfer?" It's the same thing. When I moved money from one country to a different country, there are all these different nuances and regulations we had to deal with. And you will see the same in this space too.
I'm seeing it now, right? And so I was EVP at Citigroup, and so I ran their mortgage, their cards, their wealth management. Those guys, the high net worth folks. I ran the IT for all of Citigroup out of New York, right? And so I did that for an extended period of time. So I absolutely understand what you're saying. So that's why we have lobbyists working in every state, and we have not every state. We have a lobbyist up in DC. We're working in Florida, Tennessee, and Kentucky, and Arizona right now. So we're getting all those elementary attributes being aggregated, understanding the policies and procedures and statutories that have to be abided by, so that we are a good fit. We're actually already been invited to Florida, so we're kind of excited about that. So we're going to take it one step at a time, and we're very excited. I think by this time next year, it'll be I know him when. So we're very excited.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, for anybody that wants to either stay in touch with or follow or connect with Harold, you can do so at harold@stonearx.com. It sounds like, based on what you just said, that we can go to stonearx.com and sign up as a user to see what the various solutions are that you're providing. So I'll definitely look forward to doing that. For those of you who are new to AITP, likewise, we're an ecosystem and we're the Association of Information Technology Professionals. So like Harold, we've all done different roles within the IT organizations that support the businesses that run the nation. So that's the kind of people that we are. The cool thing about it is that there's a lot of mentoring going on, but also reverse mentoring. When we get younger people that come to meetings or come to networking events, we get to learn anew through their eyes, sometimes learning new things for ourselves and sometimes passing on some things to them. So Harold, thank you very much for coming out tonight and sharing this exciting advancement for us. And we wish you Godspeed as you continue to develop it as well. And you're welcome to stay with us as we finalize the evening, if you don't mind.
I'll let you guys wrap your evening up. I appreciate the time. God bless, and we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thanks very much. God bless you too.
So,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So that was pretty awesome. Oops, that's the wrong one. There we go. So like we were talking about regarding the value of AITP, when we first signed up for this a year ago, there were 8,000 courses. There are now 10,000 courses. I've been working with Keith and his team to put together a list of specific technologies. There are, at least as I saw in a very brief look at it, at least 3 different AI certifications, including one that was put together by Accenture. So just that alone, I think, is pretty awesome. I signed up for the one from Accenture. I haven't started yet, but anyway, 7 different classes that set the different boundaries of what AI is. So, and that's just a beginning. Even if you want to look at just basic IT trends, you can do that as well. For those of you who have small businesses, this is an appropriate platform for the development of your employees as well. We would love to have you as a member. It's $97 a year. We say $6.99 per month. It's a cup of coffee, right? We have a whole cadre of people that have signed up who are servant leaders and servant partners. So we have Emily Bell-Wooten, our Chief Marketing Officer, Akshay Chopra, who's here tonight, who's our treasurer. I guess Emily Bell-Wooten was here tonight too. She was actually asking more questions than all of us were.
Yeah.
So I'll look forward to seeing her again in person soon. And then Harish Rajagopalan, myself, Shankar Subramarian, Joe Vaughn here online with us tonight, and Brian Williams. And then if you are somebody that is connected in the professional arena of professional executives, I'd love to talk to you about membership, being our membership committee chair. Actually signed up somebody today to be on the committee, Jordan Hayward, and looking forward to expanding that as we continue to drive. Looks like Emily just came in. Hello, Emily. Okay, she may be trying to get her voice going. Are you driving, Emily?
No, I'm at home.
Okay.
I'm here. Hi.
Well, good to see you. Thanks for engaging. On our advisory board, we have our President Emeritus, Bill Fly, John Cole, and Mark Urbis, who've signed up recently. Mark's one of our, I guess he's the second new member of the group since Emily and Shankar got our AITP Lone Star membership site up. That's at www.aitplonestar.org, and you can check that out there. We have lots of fun as groups. This was Augusta High Tech. This was O2 Cyber. This was at my place. Obviously, we actually had people there, but I thought the picture with the flowers was kind of cool, so we're sticking with that. And Emily Bell-Wooten provides services to us for marketing and can do so for you as well. We don't see him very often, but Brian Howard has jobseeker.pro/AITP, and you can get some special resources from him from a job seeker perspective. And it was extraordinary to hear the things that Harold's doing. It is mind-boggling, the complexity, right? With all of those different entities and all of the different perspectives of everybody. So I wish him well as he continues to develop that. Don't forget that starting in January, we have Mark Urbis coming to speak, and then Diane Stepner and Jason Buffington. Besides that, we do have a survey. So if you could take a picture of this slide, this URL will take you to a SurveyMonkey questionnaire regarding things that you would like to see in your association. And I encourage you to take that. And unless there's anything that anybody else has to say, I think we can end a couple minutes early tonight. Anything going on, folks?
No, that was really a fascinating presentation and topic. Something I've not heard much about, and wow, that was interesting. Yeah,
I have been on the journey for the last 4 years to get my property signed up. We have an appointment with the zoning board on the 16th for them to approve the plat that we just had done. So because it was raw land when I got it, there were quite a few things that had to be done. in order to get it up. And the county never had a plat because it was back in 1955, it was a part of a 150-acre ranch.
Wow.
So all these little parts have to be added together. So it is pretty fascinating, that the real estate industry and all the things that Harold is doing. So wish him well. Guys and gals, now that Emily is here, thank you very much for coming tonight. I will see you guys in just a couple of minutes for the board meeting, but for everybody else, Godspeed, and we'll see you guys in 2026. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.